Hello everyone, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. As you all know, I got a Ben Reilly Spider-Man outfit, but I needed web shooters to match. The ones they have for Scarlet Spider doesn't work because it's too bulky and it kind of damages the suit because they're made of metal. They're made of wood. So I thought this video I would show how I made these. How I made these lovely web shooters. Now again, they're not functional. I'm not that much of a genius. But these are the web shooters that I made. And in fact, it's as simple as doing this. Literally, as simple as doing this. Bam. Bam. Very easy to put on. But there you go. You know what I mean? Look pretty damn good, don't they? Oh, gotta adjust that, adjust that. But for the most part, pretty solid, right? Yeah, and so I thought I'd just do a step-by-step video on how I made these web shooters, just in case anyone's ever wondering what I did or how to do this. If anyone wants to do a costume of Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker, or, Ben Reilly Spider-Man, this is going to be a stepwise. And not just that, too, but also in the hopes that if someone can find suggestions for me and, the way to do it better, you can leave a comment. So, here we go. Okay, folks, so anyway, here are the two supplies I used when doing this, by the way. This is going to be epoxy resin smooth cast. You can get this on Amazon. Maybe I'll put the link in there if I'm not lazy. But I use this. And the other thing I used was this. This is a mold that I got from Amazon. These are bookmark molds. Now the thing with the bookmark mold though is they have like little protrusions here. You can't really see it, but right there. And so it's going to create a hole. So what you want to do if you're going to go this route, and you could probably, if someone can find a better mold for me, and I mean, again, suggestion, you can find a better mold that doesn't have this hole, I'm all ears, but I got this on Amazon for like $10. So you just get some scissors, and you cut that little protrusion out, like that. You just cut it out, and that way you don't really have enough of a hole, but you do get a little indentation, which you can fix, and I'll show you a way to do that. So, the good thing about this one here is that it's volume based, so you don't have to weigh a damn thing. No weighing, you just eyeball it by a cup, by using a cup. Which, by the way, you also want to probably get plastic cups because that thing is going to stiffen in like 5 to 10 minutes. So, before you even do anything with this mold, you want to clean it. You want to make sure it's clean, so because anything that's going to stiffen is going to stay inside that little mold when it stiffens. So, here's some alcohol. You know what I mean? You get a little alcohol, maybe dab your finger or a Q-tip, go along here, and then just maybe wipe it off with a cloth like that. Just make sure it's clean. Oh, I'm gonna put a little more since it's not the cleanest thing I've seen. There we go. Get a little cloth on here. And the good thing about alcohol is that it will dissolve, folks. It does dissolve. Alcohol is kind of made that way. So, there we go. There we go. Nice and clean, not greasy. And then another thing you might want to consider doing is something called a tack cloth. So it's like a really sticky cloth you can get at a Home Depot, and you can just go with a cloth like, not like this, but it's a sticky cloth, and you just could kind of go like this and just very gently do that against the mold to get any sort of dust or residue on it. But when you're done cleaning the mold, now it's time to actually mix these things together. So here's my 2 cups. Here's my 2 parts. Here, the very important thing that you want to do first. Do not shake this. Don't shake it. Don't shake it. And be careful how you pour it out too. Because if you shake it and you pour it out like you're pouring out a freaking glass of milk or just a jug of water on the street, it's gonna cause bubbles to form. You don't want bubbles to form, because if the bubbles form and you pour it into the mold, it's gonna cause these little pieces here. It's gonna cause these little pieces to have like pinholes, little tiny pinholes, like someone poked a needle into it, and you're gonna have a ton of those on there, and it's just not gonna look nice. So you kind of want to minimize that as much as you can. So here we go. Here's my. Oh man, that's stiff. I could really feel that. So you want to do this. So here we go. So pour a little bit of that in here. Yep, there you go. See, this should be enough because we're only doing one. And now this is where you have to eyeball it. So No bubbles. No, maybe one. And then here's this little thing. So pour a little bit in there. You kind of want to make it as equal as you can, possibly can. Let's see. Let's eyeball it. A little bit more of the blue. There we go. That should do it, I think. And there you go, folks. This is what I mean by eyeballing. See that? And you see that? Compared to the side by side, you can kind of see them go. And now you're just gonna mix them together, and you have to stir it. Make sure you have something protecting, like a cardboard piece. Like I have a piece of cardboard here. But also another thing, when you pour it in and you mix it, you're not mixing a freaking thing of Kool-Aid. Be very gentle when you're mixing it because you don't want to form bubbles and you want to minimize the amount of bubbles that are going to be formed. Because, again, you don't want it to have all pinhole marks in there. That's terrible. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead. We'll mix this. We'll try to get every last drop in here. And again, you want something to stir it. I have a popsicle stick from popsicles. Because I'm a crazy person who eats popsicles in the middle of winter in -degree weather. But there you go. Just kind of go in there. Make sure everything gets in there. Make sure everything gets in there. Okay. Make sure everything gets in there as much as it can. Sweet. Alrighty. I'm going to leave that there. Then, now it's time to stir. Again, not being really gentle with it. Not trying to create bubbles. Trying to minimize that. And you probably got around 5 minutes to really pour this, because this thing starts getting pretty viscous and then starts becoming unpourable after that. So you kind of have a limited time to do it. So make sure you try to get as many molds as you can. Alrighty. Alright. It's in there. And see, now, just gonna move this out of the way. Get the F out of the way. Get the F out of the way. Get the fuck out of the way. And now, here we go. Here's my little mold there. Now we're just gonna pour it in. You don't want to overflow it, but you want to make sure you fill it, so that way it's not super thin. Everything's covered in there. Everything's covered. There we go. There we go. Hell, I might just do another one because I might just do another one. A few other ones too, because it's just, like this is like I don't want to deal with that. Like I don't want to waste this mold and waste this epoxy resin because I just don't like wasting things. I'm just gonna do another. There's a piece of hair in there. Let's not get that in there. But now we're just gonna pour this in here. Pour all this in here. Alrighty. All right. Enough for 2 of them. And now we just wait 5 or 10 minutes. Alright folks, now I'm back. As you can tell, about done. About done, folks. This is about done now. As you can see this is clear, ready to go. This is how it will look like when you're done. It's white. And also, just FYI, I didn't think I should have mentioned it, but here's a tape measure. This is about 4 inches, 3.5 for the web shooters, the length. Width is about 1 inch. So yeah, so you probably want it to go about 3, like depending on how long your arms are, wrists are. You probably want it about 3.5, 4 inches, somewhere around there. That way I look decent. But here you go, just about done. See that? And this is how they'll look. So you can easily just take it out of there and take it out of there. And because I didn't shake it like an idiot and didn't do a terrible job, you can also tell that there's not very many pinholes in these. It's very minimal. But if you're a perfectionist, here's what you can do to fix that. This is a glazing spot putty. You want some sort of glazing type spot putty. It doesn't matter which one you get. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. But here's what you do. You open it up. This glazing spot putty. You pour as much as you need to do. Ooh. There you go. Oh, man. This is old, by the way. I haven't used this in years, so, and I was thinking to buy one for the purpose of this video. But there you go. Here's a nice little thing. A spot putty there. You do that. You get a hardener. This, I don't have the hardener on me, but this is a hardener you can get on Amazon. Red, blue, doesn't matter. And what you do with that hardener is you go across. You go kind of like this, and you just a thin line across the area. Mix it. Ooh, damn. Mix it like so. You mix it like that. That way you can get nice and hard like that. You get nice and stiff, nice and hard. And this one you have a little more time. You have probably about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before it gets stiffer and hard. And what you do is, once it's all mixed up, I don't have a hardener in here. You kind of just maybe get a little bit on there, and you just go along this. Just kind of go along the little pinholes, and you kind of just do this. Just kind of, and this will go into the pinholes. This will cover it up, and this will make it nice and smooth. So it'll go all over those pinholes. So I'm just gonna do it now because there's a few of them on here, not very many. But again, I didn't shake it. But there you go. It goes all over the pinholes. It's there, not a problem. And then again, you wait. Then again, you wait like, you know, a few minutes. Wait a few minutes. Wait a few like 10, 15 minutes or so for this to harden. And voila. And then you're done with that. You're done with that step. That's it. And it depends how much of a perfectionist you are. If you can live with like a little, the minimum amount of pinholes, then you're fine. Because here's the thing. No one's going to do this. Look at your, like, put their face right here and look at your damn wrist. No one's gonna do that. So it depends how what you can live with. Like, you know what I mean? So this step isn't necessary, but if you're a perfectionist, then you pretty much will go over that with like the pinholes, and you'll literally just go ahead and just put it on there. And again, like the time this takes to dry varies depending on how the ratio of how you mixed it. Generally, like about 30 minutes, 50 minutes, like, you know, anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour is a good time to wait for this to really stiffen and hard and not be like sticky and tacky. But yeah, and now you're on to the last step. Ooh, look at that. Look how flexible that is. Ho, 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 ho. But anyway, now we're on to the last step. But you see, it should be flexible, nice, and ready to go. And so, ooh, man. Here's the other step. And if you do the glazing spot put, you're going to have to sand it a lot better. But that leads me to my next step. Sanding! Oh, the joy. Oh, how joyful the sanding is going to be. And the reason you want to sand it is because when you paint it, you want the paint will chemically bind to it, but you want it to physically bind to it as well. Think of it as rock climbing. If a rock is super smooth, you are not going to be able to grab onto anything. You want it to have some little jacks, some little edges to kind of grab on when you're climbing rocks. Same concept here. The thing needs to grab onto something. So, personally, for me, let's see, 150. There we go, 150. So first, I start off with like 150 grit, and it's very easy. It doesn't take very much time. You just kind of scuff it up. Just do this a little bit. You know, kind of make it a little rough. So you just kind of go across here. And again, depending on how well you pour the mold and you pour the thing, and you might have to sand down the edges like that to kind of get it more square. But here you go. You just sand it down. And I kind of go all over. Here's the edges. There we go. Edge, 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 edge. Edge, edge, edge. You know, edge, 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 edge. Kind of, there we go. Mix it around. And you're going to be able to tell, by the way, too, when this is like, when this is ready. When this is like sanded, because it will feel rough. There we go. You want to make sure you get the entire surface. Okay, so it's ready to go. It's nice and sanded. And then I move on to 220 grit. And so we just kind of do this. Sand it down some more. Sand it down some more. And like I said, this is a little more flexible because I didn't wait at the appropriate amount of time for this, and maybe the ratio might have been off. But again, you generally want to wait like a day. You generally want to wait like maybe a day or so. you know, maybe like 30 minutes to an hour for this to dry. And you also want to make sure you keep this in like a heated place too. Place something like room temperature. This was out in like my sunroom, which has no insulation, so this is pretty damn cold. So you might want to make sure that you keep these things room temperature before you use it. Anyway, so you do the same thing pretty much. Just, you know, there you go. There's my grit. You can see like the white stuff is already starting to come off. There you go. There you go. There you go. But it's kind of starting to scuff off, starting to get the edges. Make sure I get the edges. And bam. So now it's all scuffed up with this grit. Final thing you want to do. Now you got to do some wet sanding. Now this one, you want to use like either 300, 320 to 400 grit, somewhere around there. So you get a nice glass of water. Voila. And you just kind of do it in here. You maybe want to put it on there, and then you just kind of go along there with wet sanding. You just go across it, and you're gonna find that it's gonna be smooth. Like, it won't be as smooth as the back of this, but it'll be smooth from the front. So you kind of just do that, do that, do that, do that, just sand it down, and you know, make sure you get all the edges, and it'll be smooth, but it'll be kind of a different type of smooth. When you'll feel it by texture, and done. So there's the wet, and there you go, it's done. That's the other part. So now you want to clean it off. So because you got all those sand particles on there, so kind of just want to maybe, you know, again, get the alcohol in there, you know, and just clean it off. Alcohol is nice, it will dissolve. So just gotta wipe, give it a nice wipe there. And again, this typically dries in like a minute because alcohol evaporates pretty fast. But there you go. Kind of wipe it off, wipe it clean. Give it a little more alcohol. And you kind of wipe it clean like that. You know, just kind of give it nice clean for those texture. And voila. And done. Done, 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 done. So it's smooth, but not like smooth like the back would be. Not smooth like this. This is really nice and smooth. Not like that, but it's very smooth. And so anyway, now when you're done with that, again, you want to go with your tack cloth, kind of do a little, you know, that you can get a low, just go over it like that. Very, very gentle. And now you're ready to paint it. This is where things will differ. This is, well, it will differ, folks. It will differ by numerous ways you can do it. If anyone knows a better painting way to do it, I am all ears. I 100% want to hear it, because what works for me may not work for you. Something may even be better than what I do. Personally, I don't like using brushes. Like, I hate using brushes. Like, you just, you know, you get the brush lines, and it's just not nice. You know, I hate using brushes. Hate them. I hate having it in like paint lines on there, and it just doesn't look right. So I use spray paint. The first thing is first, you know, I make sure that I put some primer on it. And you could use primer. Plastic dip is kind of a decent one too. Gives a nice little texture there that kind of binds to the thing. But primer. For this purposes, I use primer sealer, Rust-Oleum. It's pretty good. You could also use primer like filler, which will kind of fill in all our imperfections, but primer sealer works, and it's pretty compatible with what I'm going to use. So, this. Again, plastic dip's another way you can go. That's pretty good too. But you kind of want to shake it, give it a nice shake and fill it. And I prefer to use spray paint because I don't get this paint line. Biggest caveat with that though, and I will say this right now, with this, you gotta keep the can moving. You can't just hold the son of a beach, son of a beach. No, this is too old. Oh, that sucks. That's awful. No, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to think if I have another one that I can use, but anyway. Crystal clear enamel. That can do it. No good trick. Good thing these knobs are interchangeable. It's not that. But anyway, biggest thing is you don't want to hold the can like this and just hold it in one spot. That's not how you spray paint. You kind of want to go keep it moving, because if you hold it in one spot, you're just gonna get a paint run. It's just not gonna look nice. So here's my thing. So just and done. That's it. I don't need to do a damn thing. It's done. Maybe a little more on the edge. Voila. Finito. Finished. I don't need to do anything. And then now we just wait for it to dry. This takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll be back. And we are back. Now, with some time cutting, this is dry. See, it's nice and gray now. It's dry. It's ready to go. Go that. It's soft. It's ready to go. Before you start that, you again want to get a little tack cloth. You can buy at like Lowe's, and you just kind of go slowly across this. Just slowly across, get any dust. And done. This is where it's going to differ too. Now, we gotta paint it. And for this purposes, I use this Duplicolor Chrome. There are drawbacks to using this one. It's not going to look like it looks on a can. That's a complete lie. It's not going to be very reflective at all. It will look silver and metallic though. Another thing, you cannot use clear coat with this paint. Cannot do it with any, I find with any metallic pack paint, you can't really use any clear coat at all. Just completely does it out and looks terrible. Another drawback to this. Oh, for God's sakes, why can I never open this? The nozzle. Whoever designed the nozzle is an idiot. It's because it doesn't spray circular. It sprays horizontal, diagonal, but it doesn't spray circular. And that is just beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. It's like, it makes it a lot harder to use, a lot harder to get even coats on it. It just makes things harder to do. It's so stupid, and so it's hard to use. That's one of my biggest complaints with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with just a nice circular spray pattern. But this doesn't do it. Not just that, but it's also prone to just, to kind of splatting out like little dots. So that's also another drawback. Two, also, this is not the most durable paint either. It can damage easily, it takes forever to dry, and it kind of dries a little soft depending on what you use. So, if anyone knows, so again, this is another one where if you know a better way to do this, a better spray paint that's going to look, chrome or reflector or silver and reflective, I'm all ears. Leave a comment. I hear spastic is a good thing, but I'm not spending the money for that. And so anyway, again, same thing. Take it. I'm going to put it vertical. Shape. More shape. There we go. And now, I just pretty much just do this. Now, I just pretty much do this. And that's all I really need. That's it. That's all I need. It's not going to take that long. That's it. And then again, we wait like, this one we're going to wait a little longer to dry. This dries very, very, it takes a lot longer to dry for this. We're talking at least an hour just to be safe. So we'll wait for that. Alrighty folks, we're back. And now, as you can tell, done. Nice silver done. Completely done. So, the last step we can do, and I'm going to use this because these are my Star Spider version shooters. You can tell, different from, these are made out of wood. Ben Reilly version Spider-Man. Different. But for this purposes, I think this will be easier to illustrate. Let's put this up. So, notice what this is attached to. This is a wristband. A Nike wristband to be exact, but this is a wristband. This is what it's attached to. It's that simple. Now the biggest thing is how you're going to attach it to this wristband. Now again, you can use other methods, other ways to attach it to. This is not one size fits all. This is if you're not very skilled like me. I mean, but it's just something you can do. Like for me, here's a wristband. Right there. This is a wristband. Inside here, wristband. You can't see it as well as you can see it here because I purposely left a little space here so I can get it on easier and off for the Scarlet Spider version. But so here's what we do. Hot glue gun. Now because this is a resin, an epoxy resin, you can use, because it's epoxy resin, you can see white and silver. Nice and little shiny. Epoxy resin, you can use a hot glue gun to kind of do this. If it's wood, I kind of have to use something a little more durable like Gorilla Glue. And so pretty much, and also I should say that make sure you get this an appropriate amount to dry, because if you don't, if you put your finger on it and it's not dry, or not dry enough, and this takes at least an hour, I would even give it a day and just leave it to dry, you will get fingerprints on it. Your fingerprints will be left on it, and it's just, you might have to redo it, and it's tragic. So we give it at least an hour, probably a day even. I would recommend even a day to dry. But once that's done, here's the hot glue gun. So pretty much, the biggest thing with this hot glue gun is two things. Be careful not to burn yourself. I burned myself here. You can't really see it very well. There we go. For God's sakes. Okay, I'm not good at that, but I burned it here. It's healed by now, at this point. And it's also messy, because the glue gun is going to get kind of stringy, and you have to be very careful, because you don't want the string to get wrapped around here, and and if it's thick, if it's kind of stringy, it's hot too, so it could just ruin it, the top of it. But here's what I did. Literally, here's this. Here's the wristband, and I put the wristband on my actual wrist like this, because if I do it flat, you're not going to get the appropriate shape. You're not going to get the appropriate shape for, for how it's going to look. You need to kind of get the appropriate shape and how the diameter it's going to be. And you can only do that by putting it on your wrist to see how it's going to be done. Because if you do it flat, it's going to either be too much or too little, or get yada yada. But here you go. You plug it in, just do it like this. And again, I'm not actually gluing anything on there, because I don't want to ruin these. But you kind of do this, like that. Bam. And just hold it in there like that. Kind of go to the bottom, press it in, and just stick it in there, just like that. And that's it. And that's it. That's it. And you got them, and just caveat, make sure that it's kind of straight. That you don't want it to kind of go at a diagonal like this. You want it to be straight. You don't want it to be at a diagonal like this. Like this. Or like this. You don't want it to be a diagonal. You want it to be straight. So you do that, and then not just that too. What I like doing is kind of going on the edges of this too, and kind of, because you can get the middle of it, but then you kind of want to get the edge. You kind of want to get the edge and just kind of go like that, like that, like that. And then you kind of just want to kind of get the edge there, just go there, just go there, just go there, and just, kind of get the edges. That way it's stuck a little more firmly. And there you go. And then you literally just, when that's stuck, you literally just go around. Here's another piece. And you literally just, right next to it, boom, super glue. Here's a glue gun. And you just go right next to it and do it like that. And again, press down on it. You go, and then you want to do the same thing. Get on the edge. Just go to glue gun on there. Put it down, and bam, there you go. And that's it. That's how you do. That's how you do the web shooters. That is actually the easiest part, is the gluing. And then you can get it to look like these. And then eventually, when you're done gluing it onto the wristband, it looks like this. It looks exactly like this. And then you put it on, but it looks like this. Give it a little give. It's not coming anywhere. But bam, it looks like this. There you go. My web shooters. It looks like these. You see, shiny, ready to go. You know what I mean? Just So you look at that there, and there you go. And and just to illustrate how shiny this is, like here's another one. There you go. And that's that simple, folks. I hope this was very educational and someone gets something out of it.